policy for the Albany Police Department and also protocols for trainings in residential areas. There will be public comment.
We are still, the reason we're still in draft form on this is because once we started to work on the policy, we realized we were looking for current best practices. There were areas that really weren't spoken about at all. One of the areas we've been working on, we're working closely with ICLU and in our voices was the strip search policy, our strip search policy as it pertains to transgender, gender non-conforming, and intersex persons, which we had no policy on. So while we were going to do it, we were going to do it right. It's the policy of the police department that all personnel will obtain prior written authorization from the chief of police department hosting any experiential training at an off-site location or conducting any experiential training at an off-site location within the city of Albany. When applicable, appropriate notifications will be made to members of the Albany Community Policing Advisory Committee, the Albany County Council, the affiliated neighborhood associations, and any entities within 300 feet of the designated training area. The notification will be in writing and must include the training dates, times, location, scope of training, and department contact information. Department contact information will be provided as a resource for the community to seek further information, as well as a resource for the department to seek input. All appropriate parties will receive this written notification 30 days prior to the start of the scheduled training. Now, the reason this thing is still in draft is because we want to work with ACPAC. Remember, we're trying to figure out the best vehicle that we can find to obtain the input from the community before that decision is on my desk. If I have my thoughts, I think ACPAC has played a good role there, but ultimately we have to make sure that everybody's on the same page with that.
I understand that this is a draft currently. The question is, once this policy is in place, will it be a public document, or is this, once it's approved, final version, will it be a public document, or will it always stay internal? Because I compared some of the things that with very, very redacted previously document, and I was looking.
Can you read that?
I was looking at why would some of the stuff.
I just want to say that the chief asked that we not circulate these to anyone else.
It sounds like the department has made some pretty progress. They're not there yet from the point of view of my board, the NAACP board, because my board wants a prohibition within the city, an out-and-out prohibition. And from what the chief articulated, this would not be a prohibition in that other entities could do it, and they could do it, as you pointed out, the city of control or the city-owned property.
You know, I have to say, I mean, from what you just read, it seemed like a really significant departure from some of the old days when you would run down the street and see people, you know, strip search, you know, in broad daylight for no offense whatsoever.
And I appreciate what you've done so far. I don't want you to think that has gone unnoticed.
Well, I'll say this. I never met you before. So you'll get my personal apology right now. I apologize for any distress you may have suffered as a result of this. And that's heartfelt. You can come in anytime you feel like there's an issue. Whether it be about this or something else. You're down the block from us. Come in, our door, as I said, is always open.
We're talking about strip search policy, but this is different than the stop and frisk policy, correct?
We are not talking about stop and frisk.
Okay. So I heard some comments earlier about, black men who were disproportionately stopped in the street and searched and so on and so forth. That's a different policy than what we're discussing.
There's no policy of stopping. There's no such thing as stop and frisk policy. And, I don't mean to be talking out of order. I'm trying to create something there that doesn't exist.
I'm not trying to create anything. I just want to make sure I go to the proper
We are not talking about
what does exist, because I've seen with my own eyes, are men and women who are stopped on the street, myself being one. That does exist. And it's been talked about by more people than just myself, Chief. So to say it doesn't exist goes a little far. The question I asked was, were we discussing strip search or stop and frisk? Because the Honorable County Legislator earlier said alluded to like stop and frisk situation. I just want clarity. So this is only,
We're only discussing, when you see the meeting notice, it's, the topic of this meeting is to talk about strip search policy and, trainings in residential settings.
they would notify certain entities, community organizations, ACPAC, Common Council. I'm just wondering in what instance would it not be appropriate?
When it wouldn't fall under the criteria.
Okay, but then that criteria would be of not being on site.
Not being off-site, not being within the, being secluded enough that it wouldn't fall within the catchment area.
And did I hear correctly that on-site would mean any governmental? Then would I get that wrong?
That is something that the Honorable Ms. Goldby brought up, and we recognize that is probably an issue, so we need to go back on that.
For city, so
I see the department really has kind of an opportunity, if you pioneer a good policy here, to expand that out to the county level. Maybe they would be interested in working together on something like making their own policy like that. But, yeah, it really is a good step. And, yeah, I look forward to seeing the public policy.
I served in the Marine Corps for 21 years. Some of you may know that. I was in law enforcement in the Marine Corps and instructor. On your policy for the strip searches, I don't know if I heard it or been that you're speaking away from us.
I know, it's good.
So for us in the Marine Corps, we would have to get a supervisor's authorization to do this.
And that's in this policy.
Okay. And the other was the law enforcement wasn't allowed to do it. That it had to be taken, you had to take them to the hospital and have medical staff do it.
It depends on the type of search that's going to be conducted. If you are going to be doing what's called a manual body strip search, it has to be done by a doctor. If you are doing something as far as just removing clothing, that can be done by an officer. But it has to be coupled with incident to arrest and reasonable suspicion.
There's no surrender, I will never go silent. I bow to no oppressor, take orders from no tyrant. I'm defying a giant, larger than Leviathan. Born in the lion's den, informed by the might within. I am him, he is me. Diesel, I'm the G.O.D. The energy in everything and everyone. You're